Want to turn your homegrown cannabis into flavorful live rosin? Well, you're in the right place. Stay tuned. In this video, we're going to break it down to the basics. Hey, but before we do, today's video is brought to you by Real Grow Lab. If you want to connect with the best growers from all over the world, get tips and tricks on how to grow the dankest plants possible, and not have to worry about the censorship we get from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Go check out realgrowlab.com. Get all kinds of great Grow Talk Q&A. Plus, see all the stuff YouTube won't let me show you in these videos. Sign up and join our growing community over at realgrowlab.com. Or download the app at the Apple or Android App Store. Now let's get back to today's video. Come on, High C, ready to get live?
I am. F it. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Help me out with this. I've
Sure.
heard of resin, I've heard of rosin, and
Yep.
I've heard of live rosin.
Yep.
And I kind of know the difference. What do you mean live rosin?
It is a trip. I got to tell you, the first time I heard about the process, I was scratching my head. Live rosin starts with fresh frozen cannabis. And what that means is you chop it down, you remove the fan leaves, and then you put it in probably a garbage bag and put it in your freezer immediately. There is no drying. There is no finished trimming. I'm waiting for a wow, man. If you've trimmed and dried wheat before, that's a big deal, man. Can you imagine skipping it, being like, oh, I'm going to harvest. An hour later, everything's in the freezer.
Well, I always thought that the drying was like a crucial part
It
of
is.
harvesting, but you're saying you don't dry it?
No, we're going to delay drying it. So what we're going to do is we're going to freeze this stuff, and then we're going to make bubble hash out of it. And you're familiar with bubble hash?
Yeah, but why are we skipping the drying part?
Because we don't want, when you dry, it touches oxygen and that oxidizes. And when things oxidize, they darken a little. When it comes to terpenes, or I should say trichomes, they will darken. It doesn't mean that you're getting any worse quality material. I don't know, I shouldn't say. But when you get that super light rosin or that super light resin or super light hash, it hasn't had time to oxidize yet. And as it oxidizes, it loses, potency.
Okay, so I've seen like the brownish colored hash,
sure.
and then I've seen like the
Light orange, almost yellow batter kind of stuff.
And that's what we're going for. That's why we skip the drying.
Yes, that's what we want to skip, oxidization.
Okay, and so live means as soon as you cut it down, you throw it in a bag and you throw it in the freezer?
Yes, and when we're talking about oxidization, we're talking about terpenes volatilizing off. So by keeping it from drying or immediately from drying, I'll show you the trick we're going to use later, but you're keeping those terpenes from volatilizing off into the air, from going out of your trichome. That's what we want to stop, and that the cold will do that.
Okay, and then next, after you've frozen it, you in the other room, you've got this washing machine that I've seen you fill up with ice.
Yes.
And I'm assuming the ice has something to do with why we're freezing it.
Yep, we're freezing it. We're making those trichomes brittle, and then we're going to use ice to gently knock it off. I have a little bubbleator, washing machine. You can use the guys that make the best hash, or the folks that make the best hash, use a wooden spoon.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, my buddy, he's an artist, and he would just use a wooden spoon, stir it up very gently, because you're not trying to get any plant material in there. You're trying to gently knock off these trichomes. Hopefully you keep them whole. You're not trying to beat them, to where it breaks them open. And that's how you get this super high quality that you call that bubble hash when it comes out.
And I've seen you've got like different layers of different mesh
bags, yeah.
And you throw that into there with the ice, and that keeps it to where the trichomes will break off in whole.
Yep. And those different mesh bags are, some catch whole trichome heads, some catch the broken ones, and that's why you separate them through quality. But once you do that, this is ice water hash. So that hash is going to be great bubble hash, but it is going to be soaking wet. It just came out of a washing machine, right?
So what do you do at that point?
You have to dry it. And now we run into the same issue as with our original flour.
We don't want it to oxidize. We don't.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the only bummer part of this. If you are going to make something live, the reason live costs more money and all that stuff is because it needs to be put in a freeze dryer. After the hash is bubbled up, usually they'll microplane it. They'll just break it up into these little, almost like a fine powder. And then they'll put it in a freeze dryer, and 18, 24 hours, it slowly slowly dries it, but under pressure, so it's not exposed to all the air. And that's how you get that super light, high quality extract, or it starts as bubble hash, but it hasn't ever been oxidized. All those terpenes have been vacuumed onto it.
Okay, so you still are drying it just like you would when you harvest, except for it never dries at room temperature. It's always frozen from harvest all the way up until fully dry. It's been frozen almost the entire time.
No, it'll be under vacuum. That's the most important thing. Yes, the temperatures will be kept cool, but being under vacuum, so as it dries, those terpenes can't volatilize off into the air. That's the big deal.
Okay, and then so you're kind of fortunate. You've got the bubble hash washing machine. You've also got a freeze dryer over there.
Yes.
What do you do after that?
Well, then there's the fun part. That's when you get to make rosin. You've seen the big rosin presses, right? Sometimes it'll be like a hydraulic press. I got one back there. Yes, that's when you'll take that bubble. They call it microplaning. You'll get it to where it's a powder. And then you'll pack that bubble hash into these bags, these rosin bags. There's a reason why I have a freezer full of unprocessed material. It's a lot of work, man. You're taking like maybe a gram or so of this microplane bubble, folding it in a bag, folding that in parchment paper, and then squeezing it at the right pressure and the right temperature to get your live rosin out.
Okay, so I've seen it done that way. A lot of extra steps. You got to have a lot of extra equipment. I've also seen people just take their dried harvest and just press that.
Yep.
And you still kind of get that gooey, honey-looking stuff. Is there a difference? Is there a reason why you want to go through all those different steps?
Yeah, purity. Absolutely. That bubble hash is you're leaving a bunch of impurities. You're taking just the heads. Man, if you were to go squeeze some grass from outside, you'd probably get some chlorophyll in there. You know, if you just took some grass, and you're going to get something from the plant material. So, yeah, I don't mind. I'll go over there and squeeze a bud every now and again and just go right to the dab rig with it. I'm not too good for that, okay? But if I was really trying to make, boutique quality, something to, really enjoy or impress my friends with, show my friends, I would want to separate that plant material so there's no chlorophyll. Chlorophyll tastes nasty if you squeeze it.
Tastes kind of like hay or grass.
It's got that grassy taste, for lack of a better word. But, so you want to remove all that plant material, then just squeeze the trichome head. So you're literally getting like what's inside the trichome heads. It's really, really clean, super flavorful. If you really enjoy cannabis, you should definitely try some live rosin. Or live rosin is when you squeeze it. Live resin is when you do the same thing, but you blast it through BHO or some kind of hydrocarbon.
Okay, and then last question for you. After I've got that, is there a way that I know that for just flour, I want to have it in an airtight jar, not very much sunlight. Is there any extra procedures I need to do for storing it?
Yeah, I was going to mention this. Yeah, every one that makes me great rosin and brings me something over and goes, you got to try this. I never insult them by I'll never leave the cap off, but I put it in the fridge. For the most part, you put it in the fridge to preserve those terpenes. This is all about doing that extra just little bit to go from good to great, so you don't want to lose any terpenes. That means keeping it. Remember, we said they volatilize off, and some of them in the low 80s they start to volatilize off. So let's keep these in a fridge. Let's keep them cool. Let's keep all the terpenes in place. We don't want any of them volatilizing off. We just paid a lot of money for that stuff, right? Still making payments on my freeze dryer. So those are the basic steps for making live rosin from your harvest. I think it's worth the extra time, money, and energy. But what about you? Do you make live rosin out of your harvest? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, talk about this video with another grower you know, and check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommending. I sure hope you'll dig them.